Hi, and thank you for visiting my channel. For more information, kindly subscribe and follow. Now let's get started. Two of the most important characters behind the scenes of the WWE, but at the same time also on screen with the Stamford Company, who have taken their work and their character to great levels in recent years, are Stephanie McMahon and Paul Heyman, both managerial faces, albeit with two different importance and weights. Apparently, however, according to what was revealed in the latest episode of Café de Renee and reported later also by the Ringside News site, it seems that there hasn't been good blood between the two well-known characters for years. Rene Dupree, a former SmackDown athlete from the early 2000s, thought about revealing the hatred between the two, who said in his personal podcast, "I know she doesn't like Paul Heyman. And Paul Heyman doesn't like her, yes. He has been clear several times, even verbally, that they don't like each other. But if I had to choose just one of them, I would have chosen Stephanie over Paul." Paul Heyman gives great words to Stephanie McMahon despite this hatred recounted by Rene Dupree in one of his last interviews, released to the microphones of Ryan Satin for Out of Character. Paul Heyman still wanted to release big words towards the WWE chairman's daughter, saying, "I like Stephanie McMahon because she's real and real out there. She's so authentic. Whether or not she knows what you're going to say, she'll always be 3 steps ahead of you, all the time. If you're not 4 steps ahead of her, you'll always play tag with her. She's so invested in the character. It's the little nuances that she uses. The way she sits there and she holds back a smile, but eventually the smile comes out and she pushes her way. A truly underrated performer and an interesting, intelligent, and competitive person to be in the ring with, mic in hand. It can all change very quickly." Stephanie McMahon sends a message to Triple H on social media, expresses how she feels Stephanie McMahon took to social media to send a message to her husband Triple H. The game recently enjoyed a workout session at DeFranco's gym. Stephanie has rarely appeared on WWE television since Triple H took over the company's creative team. On Night 2 of WrestleMania XL, the former women's champion appeared to hype up the WWE Universe. This was her first appearance since Vince McMahon's resignation. On X, FKA Twitter, she reacted to Triple H's message by expressing gratitude for her husband and Joe DeFranco. "Sounded just like we were hanging out in the gym. I'm so grateful to learn, grow, and be inspired by you both. Thank you at DeFranco's Gym and at Tripla," wrote McMahon. Teddy Long discussed the idea of Stephanie McMahon possibly changing her name. Teddy Long has discussed the idea of Stephanie McMahon possibly changing her name amid Vince McMahon's recent controversies. The former SmackDown general manager believes it would be unnecessary for Stephanie to change her last name. Speaking on Sportskeeda Wrestling's The Wrestling Time Machine, he said, "If she used her name, I wouldn't let these people worry me. She ain't got nothing to do with that. That situation is with her dad and other people. She is not involved in that, so why change her name because of something that somebody else done? She has nothing to do with that, and I wouldn't change my name." McMahon's latest appearance on WWE television was at the SummerSlam Premium Live event. She was in attendance at ringside and even shared a hug with CM Punk, who faced Drew McIntyre on the night. Later at the post-show press conference, Triple H confirmed that his wife wasn't working for the company currently but didn't rule out her return. It remains to be seen what the future holds for the 48-year-old. The world of professional wrestling is as much about backstage politics as it is about the in-ring drama. One recent revelation has sent shockwaves through the wrestling community. A former WWE star, who chose to remain anonymous, claimed that Paul Heyman and Stephanie McMahon harbor a deep-seated dislike for one another. This revelation sheds new light on the intricate web of relationships within WWE's upper echelons. A wrestling insider speaks out during a candid interview on a podcast hosted by a retired wrestler. The anonymous former star recounted their experiences working under both Heyman and Stephanie. "Look, I've seen a lot in my time, but one thing I can say for sure is that Paul and Stephanie don't like each other," they said. "Their personalities are just too different. Paul's this creative genius who thrives in chaos, while Stephanie's all about structure and corporate culture. It's oil and water. The wrestler detailed how this tension often played out behind the scenes. Meetings that involved both Heyman and Stephanie were described as tense chess matches, with each trying to outmaneuver the other. If Paul suggested something, Stephanie would counter it, almost as if it was instinctual. And if Stephanie laid out a plan, you could bet Paul would poke holes in it until everyone was exhausted. Creative vision versus corporate strategy. Paul Heyman is renowned for his creative brilliance. As the mind behind ECW, Heyman has always been a champion of edgy, innovative storytelling. On the other hand, Stephanie McMahon embodies the corporate side of WWE, focusing on branding, public image, and strategic planning. These differing priorities seem to have created a rift between the two. The former wrestler explained, "Heyman's all about pushing boundaries and creating moments that make fans lose their minds. Stephanie, though, is always thinking about how things will look to sponsors or how they'll affect stock prices. They both want what's best for the company, but their visions are so different that it leads to clashes." The clash over superstars. One particularly heated incident reportedly occurred during discussions about a rising superstar. Heyman, who was an advocate for the wrestler's edgy persona, believed they could become the next big thing if given creative freedom. Stephanie, however, was hesitant due to the character's controversial elements. "They went at it for weeks," the wrestler recounted. "Paul saw a potential megastar, and Stephanie saw a PR nightmare. In the end, the wrestler's push was watered down, and Paul was livid. He felt like the company wasted a golden opportunity." Behind the scenes at Survivor Series, another infamous clash reportedly took place in the lead-up to a Survivor Series pay-per-view. Heyman, who was overseeing creative for SmackDown at the time, pitched an idea for a dramatic storyline that would see a shocking betrayal during the main event. Stephanie, overseeing the broader direction of the event, vetoed the idea, believing it would overshadow the show's overall theme. "It was one of the rare times where Vince McMahon had to step in," the wrestler revealed. Vince listened to both sides and ultimately sided with Stephanie, which didn't sit well with Paul. He felt like his creative vision was being stifled. Public facade versus private tension. Despite these behind-the-scenes battles, Heyman and Stephanie have always maintained a professional front in public. They've appeared together at events, smiled for the cameras, and even praised each other in interviews. However, those who've worked closely with them say the animosity is palpable. "It's not like they're shouting at each other in hallways," the wrestler clarified. "They're both too smart for that. But you can feel it in the room when they're together. There's this underlying tension, this sense that they're constantly trying to one-up each other." Mutual respect amid the rivalry. Interestingly, the former star also noted that, despite their differences, Heyman and Stephanie have a begrudging respect for each other. "They might not like each other, but they recognize each other's strengths," they said. Paul knows Stephanie is a master of corporate strategy, and Stephanie knows Paul is a creative genius. It's just that their approaches are so different that they clash more often than not. Fans react. When news of this revelation broke, fans took to social media to share their thoughts. Some expressed disappointment, believing that such tension could hinder WWE's creative potential. Others saw it as a testament to the passion that drives WWE's key players. "It's kind of reassuring, in a way," one fan tweeted. "It shows that the people running WWE actually care about what they're doing. They're passionate, even if it means butting heads." Moving forward, as WWE continues to evolve, it remains to be seen whether Heyman and Stephanie can find common ground. With Triple H now playing a more prominent role in the company's creative direction, some insiders believe he could serve as a bridge between the two. "Triple H gets both sides," the wrestler said. He understands Paul's need for creative freedom and Stephanie's focus on the bigger picture. If anyone can mediate between them, it's him. Conclusion. The dynamic between Paul Heyman and Stephanie McMahon is a fascinating example of how contrasting personalities and visions can shape the direction of a company. While their clashes may cause tension, they also highlight the passion and dedication that drives WWE. For better or worse, their relationship will likely continue to influence the company's future, and fans will be watching closely. As the former wrestlers summed it up, at the end of the day, they both want WWE to succeed. They just have very different ideas about how to make that happen. And honestly, that's what makes the product so interesting. In a world where WWE thrives on rivalries, shocking twists, and family drama, the real-life connections behind the scenes sometimes create moments that outshine the scripted narratives. Today, Stephanie McMahon lit up social media with an emotional post directed at her husband, Triple H, and WWE's resident mastermind, Paul Heyman. The post provided fans with a rare glimpse into her heartfelt thoughts, bridging the gap between her personal and professional life. A message to the men who shaped WWE's present. Stephanie's post began with an air of vulnerability and respect. Accompanied by a photo of her, Triple H, and Paul Heyman sitting backstage during a major WWE event, Stephanie's caption reflected both pride and a tinge of nostalgia. To the two men who continue to shape WWE in unimaginable ways, Paul, you are the quintessential genius. Hunter, you are the backbone of everything WWE represents today. This journey wouldn't be what it is without either of you, and I can't let another day pass without expressing how much you both mean to me. The opening lines immediately captured the attention of millions, igniting discussions across the WWE universe. Stephanie's rare public acknowledgement of the two powerhouses was not only a testament to their contributions, but also a hint at deeper emotions tied to recent events within the company. The challenges of the WWE empire. In her post, Stephanie didn't shy away from addressing the challenges of leading WWE. Since stepping away from her day-to-day responsibilities in early 2023, fans speculated about her thoughts on the company's evolution under Triple H's creative direction and Paul Heyman's increasing influence. WWE is more than just a brand, it's a family. But with family comes challenges. Hunter, I've seen you work tirelessly, pouring your heart into every match, storyline, and opportunity. It's inspiring and humbling. Paul, your vision and knack for elevating talent are unmatched. Together, you've crafted a WWE that stands tall even in its most turbulent moments. The words painted a picture of unity but also hinted at the pressures both men face. Stephanie's post shed light on the sacrifices made by her husband and Heyman, who now navigates not just storylines but the complex backstage politics of WWE. Balancing personal and professional lives. Stephanie's message grew more personal as she delved into the challenges of balancing a marriage within the industry. Hunter, being married to you means sharing you with the WWE universe. Sometimes, that's difficult. I've seen the sleepless nights, the stress, and the sacrifices you've made, not just for me or our family, but for the millions of fans who tune in every week. You've carried the weight of expectations on your shoulders, and somehow, you always rise above it. Fans resonated deeply with her vulnerability, with many commenting how they'd never considered the toll that the wrestling business takes on personal relationships. Stephanie didn't stop there, extending her sentiments to Heyman. Paul, you've become more than a colleague to Hunter, you're his confidant, his co-architect in building a WWE for the next generation. Watching your dynamic evolve has been fascinating. I know we've had our differences, but I can't deny how much you've contributed to his growth and, by extension, the company's success. The sincerity in Stephanie's words showcased the mutual respect and intricate dynamics between the three individuals, each bound by their shared love for WWE. Reflecting on legacy and future. The post transitioned into a reflection on legacy. Stephanie addressed the fans directly, reminding them that the men she spoke about weren't just iconic figures, they were human beings dedicated to their craft. When my father handed over the reins, there were questions about how WWE would survive without Vince McMahon's touch. But here we are, thriving, because of the relentless efforts of Hunter, Paul, and everyone behind the scenes. This isn't just their legacy, it's ours as a family, and yours as fans. Stephanie's acknowledgement of Vince McMahon's departure and the subsequent transition under Triple H's leadership resonated as a moment of unity, reminding fans of the collective effort required to keep WWE at its peak. A personal plea toward the end of her message, Stephanie's tone shifted, becoming more direct. She made a plea to both men, urging them to find balance amid the chaos of their demanding roles. Hunter, Paul, I say this with love, don't lose yourselves in the process. Take a moment to breathe, to remember why you started this journey in the first place. Wrestling is a passion, but it's not everything. You've both given so much, too much, sometimes. Don't forget to give back to yourselves. The message struck a chord with fans, many of whom expressed their support and understanding. Stephanie's heartfelt plea highlighted the human side of WWE's leadership, often overshadowed by the spectacle of the business. Fan reactions and industry buzz. As expected, the post quickly went viral, drawing reactions from WWE fans, superstars, and even rival promotions. Some fans commended Stephanie for her honesty, while others speculated about possible tensions backstage that might have prompted the message. Current WWE superstars like Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch commented on the post, praising Stephanie for her transparency. Rollins wrote, "This is why we do what we do, for leaders like you, Hunter, and Paul who never stop believing in us." Meanwhile, Lynch added, "Beautifully said. The WWE family is stronger because of the bond you've all created." Former WWE talents like Mick Foley and Trish Stratus also chimed in, with Foley calling the post a much-needed reminder of the humanity behind the business. The aftermath. While Stephanie's post was heartfelt, some fans couldn't help but wonder if it hinted at potential shifts within WWE's leadership. Could this be a precursor to Stephanie returning in some capacity? Was there more to the story behind her plea to Triple H and Paul Heyman? Despite the speculation, one thing was certain: Stephanie's message had left an indelible mark on the WWE universe. It was a reminder that behind every storyline, championship belt, and pyrotechnic display, there were real people with real emotions driving the machine. Closing thoughts. Stephanie McMahon's post wasn't just a message to her husband and Paul Heyman, it was a love letter to the WWE universe. It bridged the gap between the larger-than-life personas and the people who bring them to life. As the dust settled, fans were left with a renewed appreciation for the sacrifices made by those who lead the industry. In the world of WWE, where drama often takes center stage, Stephanie's heartfelt message proved that sometimes the most compelling stories are the real ones. Triple H provides major update ahead of WWE Saturday night's main event this weekend. WWE and NBC Universal are set to present quarterly specials under their new media rights deal. The 37th Saturday night's main event special will air this coming Saturday with a loaded lineup. WWE will then present the 38th SNME as the lead-up to the Royal Rumble, and now Triple H has provided an update, along with the latest on SNME ticket sales. Saturday night's main event premiered in 1985 and was originally put on by NBC until 1992. The SNME format was unique as it featured top stars facing each other and defending titles instead of the squash matches that wrestling shows typically featured at that time. SNME drew strong ratings for World Wrestling Entertainment during most of its run and is viewed as being key to the second golden age of pro wrestling in America. WWE surprised fans when it announced the return of SNME for this weekend. It was then announced that the first Saturday night's main event of 2025 will take place on January 25th at Frostbank Arena in San Antonio, Texas. The Ticketmaster presale began today, and Triple H announced the passcode as MainEvent. The company's chief content officer promised this would be a can't-miss event. Saturday's SNME return event at Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum is almost sold out, according to WrestleTix. As of around 2 p.m. Eastern Time today, there were 911 available tickets on a setup of 14,865 seats. WWE had 13,954 tickets distributed at that point. While not announced by the company, it was revealed by Ticketmaster that commemorative SNME chairs were created for fans to take home. Fans who purchase tickets in the first 5 rows of the floor sections will be able to take their chairs home at the end of the night. WWE SNME XVI updated lineup. World Wrestling Entertainment now has 5 matches confirmed for the return of Saturday night's main event. which will take place at Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum in Uniondale, New York. Jesse Ventura will make his return to WWE commentary at SNME. Below is the updated lineup: Sami Zayn vs. Drew McIntyre Tournament Finals, Tiffany Stratton or Micah vs. Bayley or Chelsea Green for the inaugural Women's United States Championship World Heavyweight Championship Triple Threat, Gunther, C. vs. Finn Balor vs. Damian Priest Women's World Championship, Liv Morgan, C. vs. IYO Sky Undisputed Championship, Cody Rhodes, C. vs. Kevin Owens. Saturday night's main event will air at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on December 14th. The 2-hour special will air on NBC and stream on Peacock. As the road to the year's most electrifying events heats up, WWE's Chief Content Officer, Triple H, took center stage at a packed press conference earlier today. With WWE Saturday night's main event set to air this weekend, fans were eager for updates about the card, rivalries, and potential surprises. True to form, the game didn't disappoint, delivering a slew of announcements that left fans buzzing. Opening the gates for change, Triple H opened the press conference by addressing WWE's recent evolution. "We've always prided ourselves on being at the forefront of entertainment, blending athleticism and storytelling like no one else," he began. Saturday night's main event isn't just a nostalgic nod to the past, it's about creating moments for the future. With these words, he set the stage for a night of unforgettable action. The anticipation in the room reached a fever pitch as he dove into the specifics of the event, confirming the first bombshell: Roman Reigns, the undisputed WWE Universal Champion, will be making a rare in-ring appearance. "Roman has dominated the landscape for over 3 years," Triple H said, his tone both proud and ominous. Saturday night, he faces a challenge unlike any he's faced before. Though the challenger wasn't officially announced, cryptic teasers hinted at a major return or debut. "A legend returns." The second announcement sent shockwaves through the wrestling world: the return of WWE Hall of Famer Randy Orton. "The Viper is back," Triple H declared, his voice laced with excitement. After months of rehabilitation and recovery, Randy is ready to step back into the ring. Orton's return will see him confronting the Judgment Day, who've run roughshod over WWE Raw and SmackDown in recent months. "Randy's always been a predator, and this time, he's hunting a pack," Triple H teased, alluding to a potential alliance between Orton and other WWE superstars to combat the faction's dominance. Women's division spotlight: Triple H then turned his focus to the women's division, which has been firing on all cylinders. He confirmed that Saturday night's main event would feature a high-stakes triple threat match between Asuka, Charlotte Flair, and Bianca Belair, with the winner earning a shot at Rhea Ripley's Women's World Championship. "The women of WWE continue to break barriers," he said. "This match is more than a title opportunity, it's a chance to prove who's truly at the top of their game." Adding fuel to the fire, Triple H hinted that Ripley might have her own plans for the evening. "Let's just say Rhea Ripley isn't the type to sit back and watch. She'll make her presence felt one way or another." Debuts and shocking partnerships: the game is known for his knack for delivering surprises, and Saturday's event promises to be no exception. Triple H confirmed the in-ring debut of former NJPW star Kota Ibushi, who recently signed with WWE. "Kota Ibushi is a game-changer," he stated. "He's electrifying, innovative, and everything WWE represents." Saturday night, he steps into the spotlight against Ricochet in what's sure to be a Match of the Year contender. Another jaw-dropping announcement was the confirmation of a surprise partner for Cody Rhodes. Rhodes is set to face the Bloodline Solo Sikoa and Jimmy Uso in a tag match, but Triple H revealed that his partner will remain a mystery until the night of the event. Speculation is running wild, with names like John Cena, The Rock, and even CM Punk being thrown into the mix. A shocking twist for the tag division: as the press conference reached its climax, Triple H dropped a bombshell regarding the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship. The reigning champions, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, will defend their titles against the newly reunited team of Drew McIntyre and Sheamus. "Drew and Sheamus are two of the toughest competitors we've ever seen," Triple H said. "But Kevin and Sami have a bond that's unbreakable. This match will test the limits of both teams in ways we haven't seen before." The future of Saturday Night's Main Event. To conclude, Triple H reflected on the legacy of Saturday Night's Main Event and its importance in shaping WWE's future. "This isn't just a one-off event," he emphasized. "Saturday Night's Main Event will continue to evolve, showcasing the best of WWE's past, present, and future." He also teased the possibility of introducing new match types and incorporating fan feedback to make the show even more interactive. WWE is about creating moments that resonate. With the global WWE universe behind us, the possibilities are endless. Fan reaction. Fans in attendance and across social media erupted with excitement following the press conference. "Triple H knows how to build hype," tweeted one fan. Others speculated on the identity of Cody Rhodes' mystery partner and expressed excitement for Randy Orton's return. Final thoughts. With Triple H at the helm, WWE continues to redefine sports entertainment. Saturday Night's Main Event is shaping up to be a pivotal chapter in WWE history, blending legendary returns, rising stars, and unforgettable moments. As the countdown to Saturday night begins, one thing is clear: Triple H and WWE are set to deliver a show that will leave fans talking for years to come. WWE rumors. Paul Heyman wants to add consequences to Raw and make dialogue seem more realistic. Big news came out a few weeks ago when it was revealed that Paul Heyman would soon be in charge of Raw while Eric Bischoff would be the man in charge of SmackDown. A recent report from the Wrestling Observer newsletter suggests that Heyman will use his newfound power to make Raw have consequences and make the dialogue seem more realistic. Heyman had primarily been used backstage to help stars like Ronda Rousey and Aleister Black on their promos. On screen, we all know him as the advocate for the current Universal Champion, Brock Lesnar. He captained the Raw before Extreme Rules as its executive director. The heart of the matter. WWE had to do something in order to address the low ratings they've faced since late 2018. Heyman was announced to be getting a lot of creative and operating control backstage, and his fingerprints were all over the Go Home episode of Raw prior to Extreme Rules. On the show, Bobby Lashley and Braun Strowman had a Falls Count Anywhere match that ended with Strowman putting Lashley through an LED board on top of the entrance ramp. He also brought the Street Profits up to add some new faces to the show and was also behind the storyline between Mike and Maria Kanellis. Since the changes will be coming slowly week to week, some things might stay the same for the near future until addressed by Heyman. There are, however, a few things that he wants to quickly address, including having consequences that matter on the show as well as selling injuries across the shows. The report mentions that top guys, not the Revival, have wanted to do this, sell injuries, but Vince McMahon nixed that idea in the past for fear of the stars looking weak. Heyman also wants to make the dialogue seem more realistic, especially in backstage interviews and other segments. It also goes on to say the dialogue in interviews has come across as fake in the past. It did not elaborate more on exactly what the consequences aspects would be. Raw will still seem like it has been over the last few months, but changes will be incorporated weekly. Hopefully by the time Heyman has been on the job for a few months, Raw will return to being must-see TV rather than filled with dull segments and matches. The wrestling world is buzzing with speculation about Paul Heyman's latest vision for WWE Raw. Known for his innovative storytelling and ability to create deeply engaging narratives, Heyman reportedly believes Raw could use a shakeup to enhance its realism and emotional depth. If recent backstage reports are true, the legendary advocate is pushing for changes that would add real consequences to character decisions and make the dialogue more authentic, aligning the product closer to Heyman's signature style. Heyman's track record of innovation. Paul Heyman's influence in the wrestling industry is undeniable. From ECW's gritty, rebellious programming to his pivotal role in Brock Lesnar's dominance, Heyman has consistently been ahead of the curve. His creative genius was also evident during his previous stints as the lead writer for SmackDown and Raw, where he helped elevate stars like Edge, Eddie Guerrero, and Seth Rollins. However, his latest rumored focus isn't about elevating individual superstars, it's about reshaping the very fabric of WWE storytelling. According to backstage sources, Heyman has grown increasingly vocal about the need for Raw to feel more like a high-stakes drama rather than a weekly variety show. A push for realism. The first element Heyman reportedly wants to overhaul is the lack of consequences for characters' actions. Too often in wrestling, major betrayals, shocking defeats, and controversial decisions are brushed aside by the following week, with little acknowledgement or fallout. Heyman believes this approach undermines the emotional investment of fans. Paul is advocating for long-term storytelling where actions have ripple effects, a source close to the creative team shared. If a superstar betrays their tag team partner, the repercussions should last for months, not just be resolved in a single match. For instance, imagine a scenario where Seth Rollins loses his title due to interference from a teammate. Under Heyman's vision, the betrayal wouldn't simply lead to a grudge match, it would spiral into multiple storylines involving other superstars, interviews addressing the fallout, and a palpable sense of distrust within the locker room. Realistic dialogue. Heyman's focus. Another area Heyman is reportedly eager to address is the often scripted nature of WWE dialogue. In his view, overly rehearsed promos can disconnect fans from the performers. He has been pushing for superstars to have more creative freedom in their promos, allowing them to speak in their natural voices rather than recite pre-written lines. Paul feels that dialogue needs to sound authentic, like a real person speaking, not an actor delivering a monologue, the source explained. This change could lead to more moments like the infamous CM Punk pipe bomb or Roman Reigns' chillingly calm promos as the tribal chief. Heyman believes that authentic, emotionally charged dialogue is the key to connecting with the audience on a deeper level. An example of Heyman's vision, the Judgment Day. Heyman's rumored approach is already evident in how the Judgment Day has been presented on Raw. The group's internal dynamics are filled with tension, betrayal, and complex relationships. Finn Balor's ongoing struggles with Damian Priest over the Money in the Bank briefcase have added layers to their story, while Rhea Ripley's dominant yet vulnerable portrayal keeps fans guessing about her next move. If Paul has his way, every storyline on Raw will have that level of depth, a creative team insider said. He wants fans to care about every segment, whether it's the main event or a mid-card rivalry. Backlash and challenges. Of course, not everyone backstage is on board with Heyman's vision. Some members of the creative team reportedly feel that Raw's 3-hour format makes it difficult to implement the kind of nuanced storytelling Heyman is proposing. Others worry that giving superstars too much freedom in their promos could lead to inconsistent performances. One veteran producer allegedly voiced concerns about the risks. Paul's ideas are great in theory, but they require a roster that can deliver. Not everyone is as skilled on the mic as Roman Reigns or Kevin Owens. Despite these concerns, Heyman is said to be undeterred. He has been meeting with top stars and up-and-coming talents to workshop promo techniques and discuss how they can bring more realism to their characters. Fans react. The rumors about Heyman's proposed changes have sparked widespread debate among fans. Many are excited about the possibility of Raw becoming a more compelling, character-driven show. "I love the idea of adding consequences to storylines," one fan tweeted. "It makes everything feel more important. Bring on the drama." Others, however, are skeptical about whether WWE will allow Heyman to fully implement his vision. Paul Heyman has amazing ideas, but will Vince or Triple H really let him take the reins? "I'm not holding my breath," another fan commented on Reddit. Potential impact on current storylines. If Heyman's ideas are implemented, several ongoing storylines could take intriguing turns. Cody Rhodes vs. The Bloodline. Cody's quest to finish his story could involve more personal stakes, such as emotional segments exploring his family legacy and the pressure of living up to his father's name. Rhea Ripley's reign. Ripley's dominance as Women's World Champion could face a realistic challenge in the form of backstage politics or unforeseen alliances threatening her position. The Miz vs. LA Knight. Instead of a straightforward rivalry, their feud could delve into their shared history in the industry, with promos highlighting their struggles and triumphs. The future of Raw as of now, it remains to be seen whether Paul Heyman's ideas will come to fruition. However, his track record suggests that his involvement could lead to some of the most compelling television WWE has produced in years. If Heyman can successfully implement his vision, Raw could evolve into a show where every segment matters, every word carries weight, and every action has consequences. In an era where fans are craving authenticity and emotional connection, Heyman's ideas might be exactly what WWE needs to stay ahead of the competition. One thing is certain, Paul Heyman's passion for storytelling is unmatched, and if he's given the creative freedom he desires, the WWE Universe is in for a wild ride. Popular WWE star makes bold statement about Stephanie McMahon's full-time absence. Stephanie McMahon stepped away from her full-time role in WWE in 2023 to focus on family commitments. Meanwhile, Kathy Kelly hailed the billion-dollar princess as a torchbearer for women in the industry. Following sexual misconduct allegations against her father, Vince McMahon, Stephanie became WWE's interim chairwoman and co-CEO in July 2022. However, the former women's champion resigned in January 2023 after Mr. McMahon returned as executive chairman. However, Stephanie McMahon has continued to make occasional appearances and remains involved with the organization in a non-executive role. She was seen at events like WrestleMania 40, the 2024 Draft, and this year's SummerSlam. During an appearance on the Before the Bell podcast, Kathy Kelly appreciated the 48-year-old for being a strong advocate for the female division, highlighting her versatility and numerous accomplishments. Kelly expressed her admiration for the billion-dollar princess and noted that it's a little bit of a detriment that Stephanie McMahon was no longer in a full-time role in WWE. She, Stephanie McMahon, really is an advocate for so many women. She's not the advocate, but she is an advocate for so many women, and she is so versatile in everything that she has accomplished and has been able to do throughout her career. So I think it's a little bit of a detriment that we don't have her there full-time right now, but, God, I love her so much, she said. H/T, post-wrestling, Kathy Kelly attributes her return to WWE to Stephanie McMahon and a 14-time world champion during the same interaction on the Before the Bell podcast. The 36-year-old female interviewer credited Stephanie McMahon and Triple H for facilitating her return to WWE in 2022 after her initial departure in February 2020. The two parties had numerous discussions before her return, with the billion-dollar princess playing a pivotal role in encouraging her decision. Kathy Kelly also stated that the innovative ideas implemented by the game during his NXT era were now positively impacting Raw and SmackDown, benefiting fans worldwide. She is the reason I came back. We had multiple conversations before I came back, and she is the one that really encouraged me to come back, and it was her being at the helm. It was her and Triple H, and they really took care of me the first time that I was there. We talked about NXT, and so many of the things that Hunter implemented during that time, I think, are now bleeding over into Raw and SmackDown, and we're really, as fans, getting to reap the benefits of that, she added. H/T, post-wrestling. Given Stephanie McMahon's recent appearances at WWE events and her previous influential roles, it remains to be seen if she will return to the company in the future, whether it be behind the scenes or on-screen roles. The WWE Universe was abuzz following a bold statement made by none other than Seth freaking Rollins during an exclusive interview on a high-profile wrestling podcast. Addressing Stephanie McMahon's prolonged absence from her full-time role in WWE, Rollins pulled no punches as he spoke about the impact of her departure on the company and its evolving creative landscape. A shocking opening. Let me just start by saying, Stephanie McMahon is one of the most brilliant minds this business has ever seen, Rollins said, his voice filled with conviction. Her leadership style, her connection with the audience, and her ability to balance business with creativity are unmatched. When she stepped away, it left a void, not just for the fans, but for all of us backstage. Stephanie McMahon, who announced her departure from WWE's full-time operations in early 2023, has since taken a back seat to focus on her family and personal projects. While WWE thrived under the leadership of Nick Khan, Paul Triple H Levesque, and the reemergence of Vince McMahon, Rollins expressed a sentiment many fans and wrestlers have quietly echoed. WWE isn't quite the same without her. Rollins reflects on Stephanie's legacy. I've worked with a lot of people during my time here, but Stephanie? She was different. She understood what it meant to be in the trenches with us, Rollins explained. When creative decisions were made, you knew she had weighed every option. She wasn't just another executive, she was one of us. And that's why her absence is felt so deeply. Rollins went on to recall specific instances where Stephanie's influence changed the trajectory of his career. Back in 2016, when I was recovering from my knee injury, Stephanie was one of the first people to call me. She told me, "Seth, take your time. We'll make sure your return is something the fans will never forget." And she kept that promise. She didn't just talk, she followed through. The impact on the women's division. Rollins also highlighted Stephanie's contributions to WWE's women's evolution, a movement that redefined how female talent was perceived and utilized in professional wrestling. You can't talk about the women's evolution without mentioning Stephanie McMahon, Rollins declared. She was a driving force behind making women's wrestling. He has no one to blame but his own ambitions. Paul Heyman on why a former world champion has remained mediocre in WWE. Paul Heyman is known to be a man who doesn't mince his words. The former advocate to Brock Lesnar and current manager to Roman Reigns recently spoke about Kevin Owens on Talking Smack. He criticized the former WWE Universal Champion's ambition. Heyman also stated that Kevin Owens' legacy in WWE is that of a mediocre performer. Heyman, who has become a legendary manager throughout his WWE career, faulted Owens for his recent failures. He said that even though he believes Owens could be a first-ballot Hall of Famer, his own ambitions have anchored him down. As Roman Reigns' special counsel, Heyman has watched closely as Owens has failed to defeat Reigns. Heyman reflected on Owens' unsuccessful pursuit of Reigns' title on the latest episode of Talking Smack, a post-show for WWE Friday Night SmackDown. Heyman is a co-host of the program. "I have made a New Year's resolution, Kayla. More ambitious opponents for the Universal Champion, Roman Reigns. Unlike Kevin Owens, because Kevin Owens is handcuffed, pun intended, to mediocrity. Because that is what is going to be Kevin Owens' legacy in this industry. Mediocre. He has no one to blame but his own ambitions because Kevin Owens could have been great. First ballot Hall of Famer," said Heyman. Hat tip, Fightful, Paul Heyman clearly hopes to see Reigns move on from Owens and defend his title against other opponents. As the champion's manager, it makes sense why Heyman wants to see Reigns build a formidable track record as the WWE Universal Champion. Paul Heyman further berated Kevin Owens, who recently lost to Roman Reigns in steel cage match. The advocate compared the prizefighter to a cockroach. Heyman gave some credit to Owens' tenacity, but he also stated that his grit will bring him down. A legend in this industry, and he messed with the wrong big dog and got bit. Kevin Owens just doesn't learn. He's the kind of cockroach that keeps surviving, but he didn't get past this week's SmackDown. There's an old expression, it's in a lot of movies, it's on TV shows, it's one of the best written lines not written by me of all time, and to paraphrase it, if you come at your tribal chief, you best not miss. Kevin Owens missed, said Heyman. Hat tip, Fightful, Owens put up a tough fight when he challenged Reigns at WWE TLC, and he followed that up with another impressive effort in a rematch on WWE SmackDown. But thanks to Jey Uso's help, Reigns emerged victorious in both matches. Given Owens' losses, it's easy to understand what Paul Heyman is saying. The buzz around Paul Heyman's candid remarks on WWE programming is nothing new. Over the years, the legendary advocate has been known for his brutal honesty, masterful promos, and knack for stirring the pot. His latest target? A former world champion who, according to Heyman, has failed to live up to the immense promise he once held. The critique aired during an exclusive sit-down interview on WWE's digital platform, sparking intense fan debates online. While Heyman didn't mince words, his comments carried a tone of disappointment rather than outright disdain, leaving fans and analysts speculating about the superstar in question. Heyman's take: the weight of unchecked ambition. The setting was dark and brooding, Heyman seated in his usual black suit and crimson tie, exuding his signature gravitas. The interviewer posed a question about the state of WWE's current roster, asking who Heyman believed was the most underwhelming performer in the company. Heyman leaned back, his piercing gaze locking on the camera. He smirked, but there was no humor in it. "Let me preface this by saying that I speak from a place of truth," he began. "The man I'm about to discuss is not a victim of circumstance, injury, or sabotage. He is a victim of his own insatiable, uncontrollable ambitions." Heyman paused dramatically before continuing. "This individual, this former world champion, has no one to blame but himself for his mediocrity. When you're a world champion in this industry, it isn't just about the belt around your waist. It's about carrying the entire company on your shoulders. It's about elevating everyone around you, not dragging them into the abyss of your personal insecurities." The interviewer tried to interject, but Heyman raised a hand to silence them. "I'm speaking, and the truth isn't finished being told." The identity of the superstar. Though Heyman never explicitly named the wrestler, his description left little room for ambiguity. Fans immediately began piecing together the clues, narrowing it down to a former world champion who has recently struggled to maintain relevance. The prime suspect? Drew McIntyre. The Scottish Warrior, once heralded as the face of WWE's pandemic era, had seemingly lost his way in recent months. Once a dominant force who carried the WWE Championship with pride, McIntyre's momentum had dwindled after a string of lackluster feuds and missed opportunities. Heyman's further critique: ambition is a double-edged sword, Heyman continued, his tone sharper. It can drive you to greatness, or it can consume you whole. This man's ambitions blinded him. Instead of building his legacy step by step, he wanted it all, instantly. He wanted to be the face of WWE, the locker room leader, the best wrestler, and the most beloved superstar. But let me tell you something, you can't be everything to everyone. Heyman's words cut deep. He alienated allies, burned bridges, and ignored advice from veterans who've forgotten more about this business than he'll ever know. And now? Now, he's a cautionary tale, a man with all the talent in the world, undone by his inability to channel his ambitions productively. Fan reaction, divided opinion. Social media exploded with reactions to Heyman's remarks. Some fans defended McIntyre, blaming WWE's inconsistent booking for his struggles. Others agreed with Heyman, pointing out that McIntyre's inability to adapt to different storylines had contributed to his decline. A vocal minority accused Heyman of using McIntyre as a scapegoat to protect the Bloodline's dominance on SmackDown, where McIntyre's failure to dethrone Roman Reigns still lingers in fans' minds. One fan tweeted, "Paul Heyman spitting facts, as usual. Drew McIntyre could have been a generational talent, but he's just there now." Another countered, "Blaming Drew for his own downfall is wild when WWE creative keeps dropping the ball. He's not the problem. The system is." The superstar's response: hours after the interview aired, McIntyre posted a cryptic message on social media. "Ambition is what separates the great from the forgotten. I know where I stand. Do you? #stay tuned." The tweet, paired with a photo of McIntyre staring intensely into the camera, hinted at an upcoming response on WWE programming. Many speculated he would confront Heyman on SmackDown or Raw, potentially reigniting his rivalry with the Bloodline. Heyman's final word: in true Heyman fashion, he wasn't done stirring the pot. "Let me clarify," he said, addressing the backlash. "I don't hate this man. Quite the contrary, I respect his talent. But talent without discipline is like a sword without a hilt. Useless in battle. I hope he takes these words and proves me wrong. I really do. Because if he doesn't, his legacy will be nothing more than a footnote in the annals of WWE history." What's next for McIntyre? While Heyman's critique stung, it also set the stage for a potential redemption arc for McIntyre. With the Royal Rumble around the corner, many believe this could be his chance to reclaim his position as a top-tier superstar. Insiders suggest WWE Creative is already exploring ways to repackage McIntyre, potentially turning him heel to align with his newfound edge and frustration. A heel McIntyre feuding with Seth Rollins or even a returning Randy Orton could reinvigorate his character and reignite fan interest. Conclusion: tough love or unnecessary criticism? Heyman's remarks have sparked a necessary conversation about ambition and its role in professional wrestling. While some view his comments as a harsh but fair assessment of McIntyre's career, others see them as an unfair attack on a man who has given his all to WWE. Only time will tell whether McIntyre uses this moment as fuel to reignite his career or succumbs to the weight of expectations. One thing is certain: Paul Heyman's words will not soon be forgotten. Triple H seemingly spoils major WWE title match with recent tease. Triple H may have accidentally spoiled a major match ahead of WWE Saturday night's main event this weekend. The event will air live from the Nassau Coliseum on Long Island, New York. Cody Rhodes will be defending his undisputed WWE Championship against Kevin Owens at Saturday night's main event. Ahead of the show, Triple H gave the American Nightmare a special gift and noted that he could only use it for one night this weekend. Some fans believed that the mystery gift was the Winged Eagle title and that the result of the undisputed WWE Championship match this weekend has now become predictable, as the company would likely not have Rhodes come to the ring with the classic title, only for him to lose it. Gunther will be defending his World Heavyweight Championship in a triple threat match against Finn Balor and Damian Priest this weekend. Liv Morgan will be defending her Women's World Championship against Io Sky, and the inaugural Women's United States Champion will also be crowned. Drew McIntyre returned to the company last week and attacked Sami Zayn. McIntyre and Zayn will be squaring off in a singles match at Saturday night's main event as well. Former WWE writer criticizes Triple H's booking. Wrestling legend Vince Russo recently took Triple H to task for the way he books WWE television. Speaking on the latest episode of Sportskeeda Wrestling's Legion of Raw show, Russo criticized the promotion's booking of Saturday night's main event. He claimed it was typical Triple H booking and suggested that the company had thrown the card for the event together in the last week. Well, it's a last-minute sell into Saturday night's main event. Rather than have the matches booked a month ago and have angles and build towards those matches, of course, it's the typical WWE Triple H booking. We're gonna announce the matches 5 days before the event. At that point, who cares? You gotta build these matches, you gotta build these stories over time. You're slapping matches on Saturday night's main event the last week. Who cares? From 340 onwards, Cody Rhodes has been pushing for the company to bring back the Winged Eagle title. It will be interesting to see how many surprises the promotion has planned for Saturday night's main event this weekend. The wrestling world is buzzing with speculation after Triple H, WWE's chief content officer, dropped what fans believe is a major hint regarding an upcoming title match. Known for his cryptic tweets and carefully orchestrated teasers, the game has once again set the internet ablaze with a recent post that could potentially spoil one of the most anticipated bouts in recent WWE history. The tease heard around the wrestling world. It all started with a tweet. On a quiet Thursday evening, Triple H posted a black and white image of the WWE Championship belt resting on a pedestal. The caption read, "Legacies collide. All roads lead here. #WWE Roadblock." While the words themselves were vague, the timing and context have led fans to believe this is more than just a promotional post for WWE's upcoming premium live event, Roadblock. Notably, Triple H tagged two major WWE superstars in the post, Seth Rollins and Gunther. This seemingly innocuous tag sent shockwaves through the WWE universe, as it hinted at a potential showdown between the reigning World Heavyweight Champion, Seth Rollins, and the Intercontinental Champion, Gunther, a match that has been the subject of fan fantasy booking for months. The reigning champion Seth Rollins, WWE's current World Heavyweight Champion, has been on a roll since capturing the title earlier this year. Known for his flamboyant personality and high-octane matches, Rollins has defended the title against some of WWE's top talents, including Finn Balor, Damian Priest, and Drew McIntyre. On the other hand, Gunther, the ring general, has solidified himself as one of WWE's most dominant champions. His record-breaking reign as Intercontinental Champion has been nothing short of extraordinary, with victories over Sheamus, Ricochet, and Chad Gable. Gunther's hard-hitting style and unwavering discipline make him a formidable opponent for anyone who dares to step into the ring with him. A clash of titans, the possibility of Rollins and Gunther facing off, has been a dream scenario for many wrestling fans. Rollins represents the flash and flair of modern wrestling, while Gunther embodies the grit and tradition of the sport's past. The prospect of these two champions colliding for supremacy has all the makings of an instant classic. Adding fuel to the fire, both superstars have made subtle comments in recent interviews that could be interpreted as setting the stage for this match. Rollins, in a backstage segment on Raw, said, "I've faced the best, and I've beaten the best. If there's anyone out there who thinks they can take this title from me, I dare them to try." Meanwhile, Gunther, during an appearance on The Bump, mentioned, "The Intercontinental Championship is the most prestigious title in WWE today. But if there's another title that needs to be brought to that level, I wouldn't mind showing the world what a real champion looks like." The stakes at Roadblock. With Roadblock scheduled just weeks before WrestleMania season kicks off, it's the perfect platform for WWE to set the stage for a blockbuster main event. If Triple H's tease is indeed pointing to Rollins versus Gunther, it raises several intriguing questions. 1. Will it be a title-for-title match? A clash where both championships are on the line would elevate the stakes to unprecedented heights. 2. Could this be the beginning of a long-term feud? A single match might not be enough to settle the score between these two elite competitors. 3. What role will outside interference play? With factions like Imperium backing Gunther and Rollins navigating the volatile WWE landscape, the match could easily descend into chaos. Fan reactions. As expected, social media exploded following Triple H's post. Fans flooded Twitter with theories, memes, and excitement over the potential matchup. Rollins versus Gunther at Roadblock? "Shut up and take my money," one fan tweeted. "This could be the greatest title match of the modern era if done right," another chimed in. Some fans even speculated on potential outcomes. What if Gunther wins the World Heavyweight Championship and unifies it with the Intercontinental title? That would be historic. While most fans are thrilled at the prospect, others have expressed concerns about the timing. Some argue that a match of this magnitude deserves the WrestleMania stage, not a mid-tier event like Roadblock. The Triple H factor. Triple H has a history of planting seeds for major storylines in subtle ways. As the architect of WWE's creative vision, he understands the value of long-term storytelling and the power of a well-executed tease. By tagging Rollins and Gunther, he has effectively set the wrestling world ablaze without confirming or denying anything. Moreover, Triple H's respect for the Intercontinental Championship is well documented. During his time as an active competitor, he often spoke about the title's rich history and its role as a stepping stone to greatness. A match between Rollins and Gunther could be seen as his way of restoring the championship's legacy while also elevating the World Heavyweight title. What happens next? As Roadblock draws closer, fans will be watching WWE programming with eagle eyes, looking for any additional hints or confirmations. Both Rollins and Gunther are scheduled to appear on upcoming episodes of Raw and SmackDown, making it likely that the seeds for their confrontation will be sown in the coming weeks. If the match does take place, it has the potential to be a watershed moment for WWE. A clash between Rollins and Gunther isn't just a battle of champions, it's a battle of philosophies, styles, and legacies. Conclusion. Triple H's recent tease has once again proven why he is a master of creating intrigue and excitement in the world of professional wrestling. While nothing is officially confirmed, the possibility of Seth Rollins versus Gunther has fans on the edge of their seats. Whether it happens at Roadblock or on a grander stage like WrestleMania, one thing is certain: if these two superstars collide, it will be a match for the ages. For now, all we can do is wait and watch as the pieces of this tantalizing puzzle fall into place. Stephanie McMahon on how WWE handled the COVID-19 situation before WrestleMania 36 2020 will go down as one of the most unique years in wrestling history, and Stephanie McMahon knows all too well about it. Never in the company's history has there been a year where they've had to rely on empty arena shows to ensure that the show goes on. The biggest dilemma for Stephanie McMahon and all of WWE was in sorting out the logistics of WrestleMania 36. While they weren't sure if they could still hold the event at Raymond James Stadium in Miami, the government soon confirmed that the expected gathering of over 75,000 people wouldn't be possible. Speaking to Insider.com, Stephanie McMahon revealed the thought process of WWE officials after the talks of lockdown started to come up. First and foremost, we had to take into account the safety of our fans and of our superstars and employees. That's paramount, Stephanie said. Working with the local government offices in Florida, the CDC, and the World Health Organization, we made sure we were aligned with all the recommendations from the organizations to do the right thing. Stephanie McMahon then stated how things went about before WWE decided on hosting WrestleMania at the WWE Performance Center. We had to quickly pivot to decide, A, does the show still go on? And B, if so, where and how? We decided that yes, we have the responsibility to our audience and to our partners to continue to produce our programming, she said. We wanted to provide an opportunity for our viewers to escape. We still do. It's our mission to put smiles on people's faces. WrestleMania took place at our performance center over 2 nights in front of absolutely no people, and it was definitely a unique experience. Stephanie McMahon admitted that the meetings were stressful and tense. Stephanie McMahon admitted that on a boardroom level, the meetings were extremely stressful and the overall atmosphere was tense. It's hard to blame anyone since the situation was unlike anything that anybody had ever witnessed in their lifetimes. It was essentially uncharted territory for WWE, and they managed to navigate through it well, to the most part. Apart from the lack of testing in the first couple of months, things seemed fine as a whole, and WWE gave the option to superstars to take time away, many of whom did and many of whom are still not back. Either way, 2020 will be remembered as possibly the most unique year in WWE history, and there would have been a lot of learning lessons for WWE going forward. The year 2020 brought unprecedented challenges to every industry, and professional wrestling was no exception. For WWE, the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic disrupted their plans for WrestleMania 36, an event initially slated to take place at the Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, Florida, in front of a packed audience. Stephanie McMahon, WWE's chief brand officer at the time, recently spoke candidly about how the company navigated the turbulent waters of the pandemic to produce an unforgettable WrestleMania experience. A storm of uncertainty. We were weeks away from WrestleMania, and the world as we knew it was changing by the day, Stephanie recalled. Everything was up in the air. We had this incredible vision for WrestleMania 36, with tens of thousands of fans from all over the world coming together to celebrate. But as the pandemic worsened, it became clear that safety had to come first. The decision to cancel the live event in Tampa was not made lightly. WWE's leadership team, including Vince McMahon, Triple H, and Stephanie, held daily meetings to monitor the evolving situation. They worked closely with health officials, government authorities, and medical experts to understand the risks and determine the best course of action. It was heartbreaking, Stephanie admitted. WrestleMania is the Super Bowl of WWE, and we pride ourselves on the energy that comes from our live audience. Losing that was devastating, but we knew we had to adapt quickly. Pivoting to the Performance Center, WWE's response was swift and innovative. WrestleMania 36 was moved to the WWE Performance Center in Orlando, Florida, with no live audience. For the first time in its history, WrestleMania would be a two-night event, a format that allowed for a more flexible and creative approach to storytelling. Transforming the Performance Center into a venue capable of hosting WrestleMania was no small feat, Stephanie said. Our production team worked tirelessly to make it happen. We wanted to ensure that even without fans in attendance, the experience would still feel larger than life. Safety first, ensuring the safety of WWE's talent and crew was paramount. Stephanie emphasized that WWE implemented rigorous health and safety protocols, including regular testing, social distancing, and enhanced cleaning measures. We were one of the first entertainment companies to resume production during the pandemic, and we took that responsibility very seriously, she explained. We wanted to set an example of how to operate safely while still delivering high-quality entertainment. Talent and crew were kept in a controlled environment, and matches were pre-taped to allow for multiple takes if necessary. This approach also provided WWE the opportunity to experiment with cinematic matches, a decision that proved to be a game-changer. The birth of cinematic matches. One of WrestleMania 30's standout moments was the Boneyard match between The Undertaker and AJ Styles. Filmed like a movie, the match featured dramatic lighting, special effects, and a unique setting that elevated the storytelling to a new level. Similarly, the Firefly Funhouse match between John Cena and The Fiend Bray Wyatt pushed creative boundaries, blurring the lines between reality and fiction. These matches were born out of necessity, but they became some of the most talked about moments of the event, Stephanie said. They showed that we could think outside the box and deliver something truly special, even under challenging circumstances. Engaging fans at home with no live audience to feed off of, WWE had to find new ways to engage its global fanbase. Stephanie and her team spearheaded a digital campaign that encouraged fans to share their WrestleMania moments from home. We launched initiatives like #WrestleMania@Home to keep the WWE universe connected, she explained. It was amazing to see fans from all over the world decorating their living rooms, dressing up as their favorite superstars, and celebrating WrestleMania in their own way. WWE also leveraged its social media platforms to provide behind-the-scenes content and exclusive interviews, ensuring that fans felt involved in the WrestleMania experience despite not being able to attend in person. A WrestleMania unlike any other. When the two-night WrestleMania 36 aired on April 4th and 5th, 2020, it was met with critical acclaim. While the absence of a live audience was palpable, the event's unique presentation and innovative matches captured the imagination of fans worldwide. Looking back, I'm incredibly proud of what we accomplished, Stephanie said with a smile. It wasn't the WrestleMania we had planned, but it was a WrestleMania that will be remembered forever. Lessons learned. The success of WrestleMania 36 during a global pandemic showcased WWE's resilience and adaptability. Stephanie believes the experience taught valuable lessons that have since shaped the company's approach to production and storytelling. We learned that creativity thrives under constraints, she said. When you're forced to think differently, you can discover new ways to connect with your audience and tell compelling stories. Stephanie also highlighted the importance of teamwork. It took a monumental effort from everyone at WWE to make WrestleMania 36 happen, she said. From our superstars and production crew to our digital team and executives, everyone came together with a shared goal: to entertain our fans during a difficult time. Looking ahead as the world continues to recover from the pandemic, Stephanie remains optimistic about WWE's future. The challenges of 2020 made us stronger, she said. We've proven that we can adapt to anything and continue to deliver the best product possible for our fans. Stephanie also hinted at the possibility of incorporating elements of WrestleMania 30's innovations into future events. The cinematic matches and the two-night format were so well received that they've become part of the conversation moving forward, she revealed. Gratitude for the fans above all, Stephanie expressed her gratitude to the WWE Universe for their unwavering support during such an uncertain time. Our fans are the heart and soul of WWE, she said. Their passion and dedication inspire us every day. WrestleMania 36 was for them, and we couldn't have done it without their love and encouragement. As Stephanie McMahon reflects on the challenges and triumphs of WrestleMania 36, one thing is clear: WWE's commitment to its fans and its ability to adapt in the face of adversity remain stronger than ever. In the end, the show went on, and it delivered a message of hope, resilience, and the unifying power of entertainment.